Welcome to Disturbing Comics, where we talk about the craziest comics. It's a new year, and we are finishing the first volume of the Crazy Crooked Cross. Make sure you check out the first video, or you might be a little lost, because these last pages are gorier than the Battle of Trost. Excellent segue into my next question. In today's question, would you rather live in the Attack on Titan universe as a member of the Survey Corps, or would you rather be in a coalition against the Crossed? I doubt I have the luck of being able to turn into a Titan, and I'd most definitely be fodder since my last name isn't Ackerman. And so, let's finish this over-the-top ride. Remember, this comic is a bucket of fuck, it's a fucket of buck. If you want to see what happens, including all the messed up parts, stay tuned for the breakdown. Cue the Gohan. Last time on Crossed, Stan and Cindy just offed a bunch of children. They did it thinking it was the best option to put them out of their misery, but it doesn't stop the group from thinking that the two leaders are losing their morals. On the cover of this issue, we're introduced to Horse Cockadoodle-Doo and his stumpy friend. Why is he called that? I'm sure you can guess. Cockadoodle and his group of Crossed are different than most. They actually kept survivors alive for a while just so that they can experience the most pain later. So much of issue 4 is them avoiding these sadistic members as they plan on getting to Alaska like they mentioned in the last video. Then we get to this telltale The Walking Dead moment where the group have to cross a beam over a broken bridge. Anybody could fall, right? Well, everybody whose name I can remember survives at least, but Stump, he can sense human beings like he's a Hell's Kitchen lawyer being born again. The group all make it in before Cockadoodle can get them, but one woman is left to hang when the beam falls. Rather than Cindy losing a bullet and suffering at the hands of the Cross, the woman falls down below. Issue 5 is the most chill so far. Like, I don't think there's a Cross in it unless you count the cover page. Really, this issue isn't much to discuss. Stan and Cindy do a lot of talking. I'm sure Stan is attracted to her a bit. Her son Patrick never says a word, but she's raising him to be the literal reincarnation of Jesus. I skip the flashbacks a lot because I just don't think they matter much. It's the philosophy of not dwelling on the past and moving forward for me, but y'all can read the comic online if you want to see what happens in the flashbacks. Basically, just conversations about why, who, where, right after the apocalypse. This issue ends with Cindy showing Patrick a pack of wolves, a beautiful sight showing that things aren't as bad as they could be. Issue 6 is where we get some interesting backstory about Kittrick. This guy has been with the gang for a while and has always been sad and quiet. First, the group narrowly hides from a pack of Cross, but it's obvious that the colder it gets, the more incapable the Crossed are. A dickhead has joined the survivors named Brett. He's crude and annoying, and I'm sure if he didn't have food to supply, Stan would have offed him a while ago. Brett makes an ignorant comment about Kittrick being sad during literal hell on earth. Well, this is why Kittrick is barely keeping on. On 0 Day, Kittrick and his wife and 2 kids are out on the beach. He's in the water when his wife tells him that the people on the radio are saying something bad is happening. Before he can even warn his wife, a Cross comes up and offs her head right in front of her little younglings. If they survive, they are definitely going to be scarred for life, but they don't get out of it. They get brutalized with shovels and knives to the point that they don't even look like humans anymore. And the icing on the cake is that they throw the wife's remains in the ocean for him to see. Ever since then, he has rarely spoken. After that depressing story, the survivors plan their routes. Remember, they're trying to avoid the Canadian border under the assumption that the Cross soldiers are waiting. But planning to avoid the Cross has tempers flaring between Brett and Stan to the point that Stan has to be dismissed to be lookout. It was his time anyway. Is it time to get sentimental in here? I mean, Stan does taking a dog when it's not the best decision. And also Jeff, he's getting plenty sentimental as well. He's saying that the group is his only friends ever. He's pretty old too. The reason why is because he's not like other people. He begins his backstory. plagued by conforming all his life and not clicking with the girls. Thomas tells him he can let all the story out. Jeff is like, I'm not like other people because I have desires that I often fulfilled. Jeff explains that he used to kidnap and torture young men, cut them up, and bury them underneath his house. Everybody is shocked that he revealed this, and even Kittrick is surprised. Well, anyway, his serial killer days went to hell when he accidentally kidnapped someone who was changing into a cross. The entire group is looking at Jeff like he's the devil now. I mean, he is a killer. Yeah, you had no friends, felt pain, couldn't talk to women, whatever. A lot of people are like that. Now, all those young people you kidnapped and murdered, they can't even experience things again. Kittrick is the only one to help compose Jeff, but this is just to get him to shut up. Kittrick nods with Cindy, knowing what to do about Jeff without even speaking. That next morning, Kittrick would kill Jeff for the safety of the group and just overall belated punishment. Kinda like when Carol killed Lizzie. Issue 7 is what I've been waiting on. Things are going to go down this time. Joel would be proud, not this Joel, that Joel. The survivors are walking through the desert, making sure they use the road so nobody tracks them. However, they have been tracked by Horse Cock-a-Doodle-Doo and his gang that includes Stumpy. Kelly and Stumpy are both blind, but it looks like Stumpy's hearing and other senses are really strong for some reason. Even more impressive is that Horse Cock-a-Doodle-Doo knows this fact and uses it to track the group, even though the last time they saw them was months ago. These are super cross. The guys are caught lagging as they make their way out over a waterfall, and Kittrick is shot while he was holding Patrick. Patrick falls all the way down the waterfall. Now, they don't know where the hell Patrick is until a cross uses the missing walkie-talkie to explain that they have Patrick and that they have done this stuff to him. I'm not even gonna say that. Kittrick ironically doubts these claims, especially when they say they killed him. Don't know why you wouldn't think they are telling the truth. I mean, these Cross are smart enough to want you to suffer just knowing what they did. Still, Kittrick's anger inspires the group to fight back for once. No more running away. With a hail of bullets, the group easily kills a group of Cross. But then Cindy sees her son running. She chases after him, but once he turns around, it's revealed he has turned. With no second thought at all, Cindy puts her son out of his misery. The one thing she cared about is gone. The person she was hoping would make it out alive and not use curse words. Horse Cock-a-Doodle laughs on the walkie-talkie as Cindy takes time to herself. Issue 8 is one of my favorites. The group all stay together and Cindy stays busy after what happened to Patrick. Soon, they come across an old military plane that was used for operations after Zero Day. Stan reads a long diary entry, but to shorten it, I'll say this. A military group was given the mission to escort scientists to nuclear facilities to shut them down. And unknown to those scientists, they would be killed so that they couldn't turn the facilities back on. That's why there has been no more nuclear strikes or anything. And the author of the diary breaks his leg when this helicopter goes crashing, both of those legs, and is left to die wondering if he has been a good person. The group of survivors is small, and it's about to get smaller. Stan murders Brett when he keeps kicking the dog, and is just being an annoying person. Now the group is literally just Stan, Cindy, Kelly, Thomas, and Kittrick. Stan talks to Cindy. Why? Because he wants to help her bury her son Patrick. Honestly, first reading it, I feel like that's not the best uses of time when y'all literally are walking for days after he died. They argue about it for a bit, with Stan's main point being that going back to bury him will help recover their humanity after doing so many inhuman stuff. Killing kids, leaving people to die, and just recently killing a guy for being annoying. Nonetheless, Cindy agrees with him to bury Patrick, and that means Stan and Cindy will go together, leaving Kittrick, Thomas, and Kelly to follow the plan of going north the best that they can. Alright, the final issue of Cross Volume 1. I'm not gonna lie, it ends a lot better than I thought. So Stan and Cindy actually make it back to the area where Patrick died and they bury him. Cindy really did need this, and I'm glad that it helps both of them feel like human beings again. The two stop to eat at a church where they think about those harsh decisions they have to make. The big decision is that doing the little things aren't a waste of time, especially when we did them for each other. They kept us far removed from the cross at the end of the day. The two take down a body on a cross before heading out. Thomas, Kelly, and Kittrick are still alive, but turns out they are being tracked by Horse Cockadoodle and the gang of Cross. Kittrick says, "You two move on. I'll pretend to surrender and kill as many as I can." In other words, he plans to die. He's only just realized that he has no reason to want to keep living anymore, but he is going down fighting. His final attack doesn't go well. I mean, he kills a few, but they literally chop his hand off. Horse Cockadoodle stops the gang from doing certain stuff to Kittrick to death. Stan and Cindy are close by after rendezvousing near positions that were mapped out for the group to meet back up. But now, they see Thomas and Kelly are in danger. Cockadoodle knocks away Thomas, but before he can even do anything to Kelly, Thomas bites chunks out of the big guy's neck. Then, the two put a bullet in this unique cross variant. Now, Thomas is infected. He can actually feel it rushing inside of him. Still, Kelly doesn't know this and asks him to kill her and leaves her behind. Instead, he leads her away to the cliff and they both jump off to their deaths. I expected something like this to happen. Stan and Cindy are watching above and plan to avenge their friends who all died from this particular group. With a barrage of bullets, the two dispatch each and every cross with no fear of them. We all realize that while they represent humanity's worst evil thoughts, that's really all they are. And humanity, it always wins at the end. Not just the race, but the goodness they have. Eventually, Stan and Cindy and the dog all make it to the mountains or whatever. I'm guessing this is near Alaska. But the three all make their way to an uncertain future. But one thing is for sure, they do have each other. The end. That was the end of Cross Volume 1, a starter volume where infected humans do the worst thing they can think. Of course, you can find all of these issues online with just a simple Google search, but this is a cool infection type story where the author just let loose on his fuckery. Now, let me take the time to show you some of your recommendations. Starving Anonymous, Octopus Girl, Brutal, Nyan Preacher, The Boys, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, Nailbiter, Young Witches, Brat Pack, and literally anything by Junji Ito. Okay, well, thanks for watching this video, and make sure you like the video and subscribe if you like me or if you like messed up stuff, whatever. Here's to an excellent year for all the Spookyverse. Spooky out!